So the Cleveland Cavaliers had a historic first half of the season, but there still are so many questions that remain. Even with a 44-10 record, questions like, can they match up and compete with the Boston Celtics in the playoffs? Are they due for a second half slump? Do they have enough firepower? All this stuff, and despite being up 5 or 6 games in the standings, in the NBA's latest power rankings, the Celtics were still above the Cavs. And I do get the thinking there, trust me, but truly whoever makes the rankings does not actually know basketball, because when the Cavs played the Celtics in their last matchup, the Cavs started out ice cold, couldn't make a shot to save their lives, probably couldn't throw a rock into an ocean, and still almost came back, and that was without Dean Wade and Isaac Okoro, who are the team's best perimeter defenders and really changed the dynamic of things for the defense. And then a week later, the Cavs traded for DeAndre Hunter, a move that changes everything and a move that nobody is talking about. But I will, because I really do think that Hunter takes this team over the top. I know Hawks fans have said he's super injury prone and is not the guy that we Cleveland fans think he is, but this Cavs team for the longest time since LeBron have been missing that two-way wing that can score and defend, and now they have it. Hunter is the final piece to the puzzle, and I'm not personally too worried about the injuries or the wear and tear because he is in a completely different environment. He will never have to play more than 30 minutes a game. He may not even play above 25 some nights, and he's more of like a 5th or 6th scoring option for this team, unlike in Atlanta where he was basically Robin to Trae Young. So this is definitely a lot better of an environment, and really all the Cavs need Hunter to do is defend the superstar wings of the East, and when you pair him with Okoro, that is 48 minutes of elite wing defense all game long. So I really do think the Cavs have what it takes to get past Boston, but even beyond that, there is still a lot more that has to happen the rest of this season, and there are more players to talk about. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. Alright, so let's go more in depth on the 2 players that Cleveland will be getting back from the injury list when the Cavs get back in action this week against the Nets and the Knicks. Dean Wade is one of the more underrated players in the NBA, but the only knack on him is that he is always injured. It feels like every year now, he's only around for half the season, but when he is on the court, he is a big piece. He averages around 6 points a game with 5 rebounds and 1.6 assists, but the main thing he does is he provides size to make up for the small backcourt, and he plays his role very well, because this team does not need him to be a scorer. They just need him to hit occasional open shots and to rebound and defend, and he has turned himself into that type of player to fit the needs of Kenny Atkinson and this team. He also has a plus 184 plus minus for when he's been on the court this season. Now moving on to Isaac Okoro, the dude is just a warrior. For him to be out for this amount of time, he must have really been hurt, because he is one of the players on this team that was the first to break the soft label. He's always willing to fight through screens, he takes hits, he will try to rebound and drive into traffic, he almost never backs down. He's almost like a utility player in baseball, or at least he tries to be, because whatever the front office and coaches ask him to do, he does it. Like how they told him that he needs to get better at his outside shooting, so he spent countless hours in the gym, being the first one in and the last one to leave, working on knocking down open shots, and now all of a sudden when he's on, he can be a respectable shooter. And I think this determination, energy, and work ethic is why the Cavs wanted to extend him. He fits right into the culture that Kenny Atkinson is trying to build toward, and with that shooting, he is no longer a liability on the offensive end. It was almost like Andres Jimenez on the Cleveland Guardians. Elite defender, one of the best in the league, an irreplaceable player at second base, but at the plate, man would he just disappear at times. In the playoffs, he could not hit a basketball if it was pitched to him. He could not even lay down a proper bunt. So that is why Chris Antonetti felt like it was okay to let him go and trade him. But Okoro, he looked at what the team needed him to do, and he got better at the areas he struggled in. He even was like top 10 in the NBA in shooting percentage at one point, or something like that, which was pretty crazy. Obviously, baseball and basketball are 2 different sports. Baseball to me is the hardest sport in the world. It's the sport I grew up playing, and you can't can't just will yourself to be clutch and be a good hitter. But I hope you kind of know what I mean with that scenario. Maybe baseball and basketball isn't the best thing to compare, but yeah. Anyways, moving on, let's talk about the core four, and specifically the front court of Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. Because them being healthy and being together on the court in the postseason is really make or break for Cleveland. Because we really have never been able to see this duo healthy in a series with them playing at this level. We've never seen them play together on that stage with this version of Evan Mobley. And last year, Allen took that shot to the ribs right before the end of the regular season and was out. Whether he actually should have played or not is something that caused a lot of drama with the coaching staff and front office. But right now, everyone is healthy, and the most important thing to emphasize over the second half of the season is health, and then a close second would be keeping the number 1 seed. Evan Mobley did have one really good game against Boston last postseason in game 2, where him and Mitchell were just tearing it up with lobs and everything else. But if everyone is healthy, and for an entire series you could throw Mobley and Mitchell out there, and then Garland and Allen out there as well, that is 48 straight minutes of attacking. And then the X factors are DeAndre Hunter, Ty Jerome, and even Max Strus. I know I don't talk about Max Strus enough, and I've had my ups and downs with him. He's kind of a roller coaster sometimes, but he is a guy that can heat up, and he can win you a playoff game. You can argue that Strus is the reason why this team is still together, because he willed the Cavs back against the Orlando Magic in game 7, hitting a few big shots in a row, and I feel like if the Cavs lost that series, Kobe Altman may have pulled the plug, and he may have moved on from a few guys and went a different direction. And I am so glad that he didn't. So let's look at the matchup player by player between the Celtics and Cavs. Obviously the Thunder are in the equation and are the best team in the league right now, but they are in the West, so Cleveland doesn't have a chance to face them until the finals if both teams were to make it. So starting at point guard, the Cavs have Garland and the Celtics have Derek White. Derek White to me is so frustrating to watch because he always seems to be open for 3, but once the Cavs get Isaac back, I'm assuming that's who Okoro will be on, but Garland does have to guard somebody. So as long as DG can match or beat White's scoring, I'm perfectly fine with that matchup. And then Jaylen Brown will be matched up with Donovan Mitchell. I think it's close in the playoffs with the intensity, but Mitchell wins because of his scoring, but Brown really is a beyond solid defender and will knock down almost every open look. And then I love that the Cavs have Hunter because him and Mobley really can offset Tatum. And then Horford has not been able to shoot at the same clip as he used to with his age. And then Allen versus Porzingis is very interesting. The height of Tingus Pingus is tough to deal with, but from what I've seen so far, I don't think he is a major threat when Allen is able to defend him. And then bench wise, I am taking the Cavs bench all day long because Ty Jerome is one of the best bench players in the league. I think he should win 6th Man of the Year, but I mean his own teammate in DeAndre Hunter probably is in that race as well because in Atlanta he's been a bench player for pretty much the entire season. So all in all, I think these teams match up very well with each other player for player, and if they end up facing each other in the Eastern Conference Finals, I think it will be a 7-game series, and it should make for some very exciting and entertaining basketball because there is kind of an underlying bad blood between the teams and the fan bases. I'm a little worried about the Knicks starting lineup too, but I don't think they have enough depth or even close to enough actually to make a real deep run. So I'm not too worried about them, and besides that, no other team scares me in the East. Even Brian Windhorst said the Cavs do not need to be worried about the Knicks because they are a regular season team. But that is really all I have to say for this video. Let me know in the comments below how you are feeling about the Cavs after the All-Star break, and let me know which player you are most excited to watch over the second half of the season. If you made it to this point in the video and enjoyed, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly does mean the world. And also, let me know who you would like to see next, and until then, I will see you all later.